Now let's ask something here real quick. Did God know that on March 26, 2017, you were going to be sitting here in this house of worship? Did He know that before your great-great-grandparents were born? You find that in Psalms 139. I had somebody challenge me many years ago to read Psalms 139 every day for a month. I got hooked. I read it every day for a year. When you do that, even if you just do it for a month, you'll understand God's knowledge of you before you were ever thought of. Okay? The old saying, before you were ever a gleam in your daddy's eye. You'll understand that. And it's powerful to think about. Watch this story, which begins back in 1 Samuel chapter 4. And 1 Samuel chapter 4 has an awkward opening to it. It actually starts in the middle of verse 1, because the first part of verse 1 is actually the tail of chapter 3. Some of the Bibles will have the Ark of God captured, and that's where we begin. Now Israel went out to battle against the Philistines, and encamped beside Ebenezer. And the Philistines encamped in Ai. Then the Philistines put themselves in battle array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was defeated by the Philistines, who killed about 4,000 men of the army in the field. And when the people had come into the camp, the elders of Israel said, "Why has the Lord defeated us today before the Philistines?" And by the way, they got the answer to that question wrong. "Let us bring the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh to us, that when it comes among us, it may save us from the hand of our enemies." So the people sent to Shiloh that they might bring from there the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, who dwells between the cherubim. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted so loudly that the earth shook. And when the Philistines heard the shout, the noise of the shout, they said, "What does the sound of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews mean?" Then they understood that the ark of the Lord had come into the camp. So the Philistines were afraid, for they said, "God has come into the camp." And they said, "Woe to us, for such a thing has never happened before. Woe to us! Who will deliver us from the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods who struck the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong and conduct yourselves like men, you Philistines, that you do not become servants of the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Conduct yourselves like men and fight." So the Philistines fought, and Israel was defeated, and every man fled to his tent. There was a great slaughter, and there fell of Israel 30,000 foot soldiers. Also the ark of God was captured, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, died. Now, let's break this down a little bit. Eli was the high priest at that time. Very old, very infirm. Samuel was his assistant. Eli had raised bad sons, spoiled brats to be exact. They were bad apples. It is worth noting that Samuel learned all of his parenting skills from Eli. And when Samuel raised his sons, they were just as bad as Eli's kids. Samuel had learned well. Now, if you recall, there are certain things from Bible history, artifacts, items that people would like to find. Some of you may have a hobby like mine that you follow Noah's Ark, as they tried to find the real, not the one down there in Kentucky, but the real Noah's Ark. I don't know if you ever read about that. There's the Ark of the Covenant, which we just read about. Remember the first Indiana Jones movie? What was the name of it? Raiders of the Lost Ark. They were looking for the Ark of the Covenant of God. There's the Holy Grail, supposedly the cup that Jesus drank from at the Last Supper. Okay, that was another Indiana Jones movie. Another one a little far out, the Shroud of Turin, which they, some people claim is a cloth that Jesus' body was wrapped in. All kinds of stuff like that. At this point in time, when Eli was the high priest, Israel as a nation was sinning very badly. That's why they lost the battle. They had the wrong answer to that question. God brought the Philistines in to whip on them, to beat up on them. Hopefully that would get their attention. They would turn to him in prayer and repent. Is that real to us? Anybody want the United States of America to do that right now? Can I see a show of hands? Yes, we do. He wanted them to look unto their covenant with him, Ark of the Covenant, renew their pledge, and return to him. They did it wrong. Oh, they got the covenant all right. They got the Ark of the Covenant out, and they were going to use it as a good luck charm in battle. It's not any more complicated than that. They looked at this as a good luck charm. Now, I'm not going to go into that this morning from cover to cover of the Bible. You do that on your own and think about good luck charms. But let's use ourselves as an example. This church building right here, the one up the alley, the one down Walnut Street, the one over here on Broadway, and so on and so forth around town. You know what our church buildings are for a lot of people in North Baltimore and Wood, Hancock County? They're good luck charms. Oh yeah, we got some nice church buildings. Some got tall steeples, some got short ones, some got the bell in the steeple, some of them out. Oh, they know about our churches. They like them. Won't come in the doors, but well, maybe for funerals and weddings. But other than that, what are we to them? We're a good luck charm. That's what we are. We know that. It's not right, but we understand it. Okay? Do we think about that? I don't know. Did you guys know that little kid's song, I have a little black box I keep my devil in? Anybody know that song? Okay, when I was a kid, there was this little song. I have a little black box I keep the devil in. I take him out and put him right back in. I have a little white box I keep my Jesus in. I take him out and show him to my friends. You guys not heard that one? No. One lady had. The Jews thought, we got God in the box. Here's our God. He's in this box. We're going to take the God box out to battle with us. That's what they thought. God was going to deal with them on that. The Philistines, on the other hand, they thought God was the box. Oh yeah, this is Israel's God. This is the thing they call Jehovah or Yahweh, And God's going to respond to both of those wrong viewpoints. He would show his people that thinking of him as a good luck charm was highly disrespectful. He'd deal with them on that. Look at verse 10 we just read. 30,000 foot soldiers died because they treated God like a good luck charm. You see, they thought God was in the box, where the Philistines thought God was the box. So now he's going to deal with, he's already dealt with the Israelites. Let's watch him deal with the Philistines. You got your Bibles over there. Just go right over to chapter 5. 1 Samuel chapter 5. We'll start with verse 1. Then the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then the Philistines took the... I went 2 pages at once, it doesn't work. Took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. And when the people of Ashdod arose early in the morning, there was Dagon, fallen on its face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and set it in its place again. When they arose early the next morning, there was Dagon, fallen on its face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. The head of Dagon and both palms of his hands were broken off on the threshold. Only Dagon's torso was left of it. Therefore, neither the priest of Dagon nor any who came into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. And God was just getting started. He was just getting started. Let's go down to verse 9. Let's just read a little bit more, if you would follow me down there to verse 9. So it was, after they carried it away, that's the ark, that the hand of the Lord was against the city with a great destruction. And he struck the men of the city, both small and great, and tumors, or some of your Bibles will say hemorrhoids, broke out on them. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron. So it was, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, They have brought the ark of the God of Israel to us, to kill us and our people. Now, we don't know everything that God did to the Philistines here. He gives us a snippet. He made the men break out in hemorrhoids. Okay, how many of you guys just got very uncomfortable with that? Because think about it. Long time in the future before the medicine for that was ever done. Okay? Their god, Dagon, was totally defeated and disgraced. Did anybody notice when we were reading about that, it didn't call Dagon him or her, it called it. That? It's kind of interesting. Dagon was up on its pedestal. It was a stone god that somebody carved. They set the Ark of Covenant beside it, and what's the Bible say? Every knee will bow, every tongue confess. Well, he's going to show them a little lesson here. The next first morning there was Dagon in prostrate before the ark. The next day when they set it up again, across the room or whatever, there was the head of Dagon, and there was his hands on the threshold, and the God was laying there before. It's pretty powerful, wasn't it? And then we don't know a whole lot else about this, but apparently from what we can tell over in chapter 6, verse 4, there was a population of mice and rats in the kingdom. What was God saying? God was saying, you want to treat this gold box as if it's me? Well, okay. It means that you think that you could haul me around and display me like some kind of trophy. All right, we'll deal with that. Let me show you, God says, what happens when people treat the one true and living God like that. And boom, he hit them. Now, you read the rest of chapter 6 on your own. We're not going to go through the rest of that this morning, but to condense it down, here's what you find. The Philistines knew they were in trouble. They knew it. They admitted that they had done wrong, so the only answer they could think of was return the box. Just get rid of that thing and return it. They didn't know everything about that box, but they knew this. They needed to give it back. They needed to give the God it represented an offering. They didn't know how to do it, but they got busy. First of all, I think this is interesting. They made little golden hemorrhoids because they were struck with hemorrhoids, and they put them in the box. They made golden mice or rats and put them in the box, made them out of gold and put them in there as a gift to this God. And here's what else they didn't know. They didn't know how to transport the ark. How was the ark supposed to be transported? All of you know this because you've read it sometime or another. There were rings on the side of it. They put poles through it. They covered it so that nobody could see it. It was not to be looked upon with the visual eye. And they carried it. It was never to be put on a cart. It was to be hand carried by priests. The Philistines didn't know that. They weren't Jews. They didn't have any Jewish priests there. So what they did, they made a new cart. They put the ark on it. They put some young cattle on it to pull it. Now these were either nursing calves or calves that had just been weaned. They took them away from their mothers, hooked them on that thing, and said, if God wants it, he's going to have to call it back. Now the calves were having a fit because they'd been taken away from their mothers, But they took a straight path. They didn't go into the fields. They stayed right on the road and went right back to a Jewish town to return. And the Philistines looked at that and said, whoa. They were impressed. Now, did they do everything right? No. But they acted the best they could. And what did God do? He threw grace on them. Can you believe it? He actually threw grace on them. As soon as that thing left their area, the plagues stopped. That's grace. You know, he didn't even kill them for putting the ark on the cart, which was strictly forbidden. Now here's lesson number one. God will not be treated with disrespect by anybody. He won't. He shows understanding when people don't know any better and try to do what's right for him. He will show some understanding, but he will not be treated with disrespect. Do we understand disrespect? Yes or no? Yes. Here's one of my favorite stories about that. World War II was over, and General MacArthur thought he was pretty hot stuff. Some of you have read about this. He really thought he was all that and a bag of chips. He was going to run for president of the United States. Some of you know that from history. Well, a meeting was set up between him and President Truman on Wake Island in the Pacific. And depending upon who you read, the story varies a little bit. But here's what we know. That when those two got together on Wake Island, General MacArthur went out of his way to disrespect President Truman. And President Truman would be the first guy to tell you he wasn't perfect. You know, he was nothing like any president before or since. But he had been handed the job by faith. So General MacArthur went out of his way to disrespect President Truman. And President Truman as an individual, I don't care. But you're not to treat the presidency of the United States that way. You're not to I don't care what you think of me, but you're not to disrespect the office of the presidency of the United States. So basically, President Truman had two words for General MacArthur. You're fired. He relieved him of his duty because of his disrespect. But folks, that's nothing compared to the way that the Philistines had disrespected the one true and living God. And they paid for it. And then it was Israel's turn. It was Israel's turn to see how they would either respect or disrespect their God. They would certainly treat God better, wouldn't they? Especially since they knew. They knew. What did they know? This was the Ark of the Covenant. This went in the Holy of Holies, which they'd already violated by taking it out of there. This was written in their law. Here's what they knew. The high priest went in there once a year to appear before God. He was between them. You know, his presence would appear between those cherubim that were on top of it. And I just gave you the wrong word. It's not cherubim. What is it? Seraphim. You can check me on that. I get these little skips, you know, every once in a while. But I've got an excuse for it. I'm old. He was to appear once a year before there. Now, some of you have read this, but for you who haven't read it lately, in the hem of his robe, there were little bells that were sewn in there, so that as he walked in there and did the different things he did in there, he was constantly, the bells were constantly making a little, you know, like those little ones you tie on kids' shoes when they're babies, so you know where they are in the house. You know, when it's real fast, they got a hold of the dog's tail. They had those bells. Because if the bells stopped, they also had this. They had a rope tied around his ankle. This is true. This is not legend. They had a rope around his ankle that if the bells stopped making their little tingling sound, they'd pull on the rope, which was a signal. He's still alive or if he'd done something wrong. If he didn't pull back and if the bells didn't tingle, he'd done something wrong and he was dead. But the rope was there for a second reason. They'd pull him out. Because nobody could go in or they would end up dead. Also, the ark was sacred. They had learned this from birth. It had one place to be, which was in the Holy of Holies at that time in the tabernacle, later on in the temple. Only the high priest could see it. But here was their chance. Here was their chance. The ark was out. It was on this cart. They could not only see it, but if they wanted to, they could take a peek inside. Because after all, they heard about what was in there, the original 10 Commandments. A jar of manna, that was in there. Let's take a peek. You know, because after all, this is one of our favorites. Our rules may be broken. You ever heard that one before? Our rules may be broken. So, check out 1 Samuel 6:19. It's right there. The men of Beth Shemesh, where the ark ended up, believed the rules were made to be broken, so we're going to take a peek. We're going to look at the ark as long as we can. So they opened the ark. They took a look. Now, I don't know how many looked in there. I don't think 50,000 of them looked in there. I think maybe about 100 or something. That's my opinion. But read that. God struck 50,070 of them dead for looking in his ark. Now, is it just me, or does anybody else notice 50,070? Why does he mention 70? Why don't they just round it off? Because I think the 70 is an exclamation point. 50,070! You don't treat me that way. Oh, there it is. And guess what? Nobody learned anything from that event. They didn't learn a thing. Oh, we humans got this one down pat. Those who fail to learn from history, finish it. They're doomed to repeat it, right? And it's like we get out of bed every morning determined to prove that wrong. Watch the Israelites, watch them. And you know there's another old, that's not that old saying, but you've all heard this one too. When you hit bottom, it's a good idea to quit digging. You know, you've heard that one? Well, the Jewish people, including their king, David, didn't stop digging. Open your Bibles to 1 Chronicles chapter 13. 1 Chronicles chapter 13, that's page 416 in the Pew Bibles. 1 Chronicles 13, page 416. To set this up, King Saul and his sons were dead. Remember, they died in battle. David was now king. Things had settled down a little bit. Actually, a whole lot. So David decides it's time to move the ark from where it landed when it came back from the Philistines and to move it to his new city that he had conquered of Jerusalem, which was going to be the capital. Okay, so we're going to start reading 1 Chronicles chapter 13. If you would, go down to verse 5. Now, if you're using the Pew Bible, that's right in the bottom left-hand corner. So David gathered all Israel together from Shinar in Egypt to as far as the entrance to Hamath to bring the ark of God from Kiriath-Jearim. And David and all Israel went up to Bala, to Kiriath-Jearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up from there the ark of God, the Lord, who dwells between the cherubim. There it is, cherubim, where his name is proclaimed. So they carried the ark of God on a new cart from the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio, that's not Ohio, it's Ahio, drove the cart. Then David and all Israel played music before God with all their might, with singing on harps, on stringed instruments, on tambourines, on cymbals, and with trumpets. And when they came to chide the threshing floor, Uzzah put out his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. Then the anger of the Lord was aroused against Uzzah, and he struck him because he put his hand to the ark, and he died there before God. And David became very angry because of the Lord's outbreak against Uzzah. Therefore that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. David was afraid of God that day, saying, how can I bring the ark of God to me? So David would not move the ark with him into the city of David, but took it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. The ark of God remained with the family of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that he had. You see what happened? Israel thought that the Ark of the Covenant was God in a box. They were going to move their God box from one place to the other, but they hadn't learned a thing from history. They didn't. They thought if the Philistines could get away with moving it on a cart, so can we. Okay? Even though they knew better. They knew better. They decided to copy their enemies rather than trying to do it right. Isn't it fun to point a finger at the Israelites? Yes? But before we go any farther, don't we do the very same thing? We don't pick on anybody, and don't pick on anybody else. Look at your own self. I don't like this, because you know that thing, you point your finger at somebody else, you got three, point back at you. We're all doing something that God doesn't like. Right now, every one of us has something in our life we're doing that we know God doesn't like. Do not say amen, just say yes.
Yes.
Agree? That's who we are. And we're so proud of ourselves. I got rid of one habit God didn't like. You know what my grandmother's was? She didn't say ain't. Her English wasn't good. She used a lot of bad things. She didn't say ain't. She was just pretty darn near perfect. Because she didn't use that word ain't. We can make fun of my grandmother all we want to, but aren't we that like that? We've given up one thing, so we just think, by golly, we're all that, and a bag of chips. Well, the Israelites looked at the Philistines and said, they're doing this wrong, and God didn't strike them dead, so therefore, I can live like my neighbor, because they're doing this, and God hasn't struck them dead yet, so I'm okay. Folks, is that what the way Christians live today? Sure. And we'd like to point the finger at other Christians, but here it is, right here. We're all like it. Boy, this ain't comfortable in one bit, is it? Because, boy, I sure like to point the finger at Aaron. I would. But see, while I'm trying to point my finger at Aaron, the Holy Spirit's doing this. Yes, He is. See, as we read through 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and then Samuel and Kings and all these, we discover that God not only tells these stories, He tells them more than once. And why does He do that? Because He has important lessons for us. He wants us to get. And this one is so easy. You see, our job is not to get our God into a box so we've got Him figured out. I have a friend that he's figured it all out as to what Jesus wrote on the ground. When that woman was brought to him that was taken in adultery, he wrote the ground. The Bible doesn't tell us anything else what he wrote. But Kenny's got her figured out. I worry about Kenny. You can't put God in a box. That's a lesson here. Our job is not to get our God to where He fits somebody else's description either, is it? The Pope saying that the Quran is the same thing as the Bible. No, it's not, buddy. Allah is not God. Buddha is not God. Our job is not to get our God where He fits somebody else's description. What is our job? To copy and worship the true and living God the way He says, not the way somebody else does. And just because somebody else is getting away with something because they're ignorant, that's not us. We can't use that. I can't use it. None of us can. Our job is to read the Bible, understand who God is and how He wants us to interact with Him. It's like the tennis shoe manufacturer, Nike. Just do it. Just do it. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is, first of all, we can't leave things alone. Can we? Something can be very, very simple. We can't leave it alone. Let's just use our favorite example, the plan of salvation. Faith, repent, confess, be baptized, bring other people to Jesus. It's pretty darn simple, isn't it? No, we can't leave that one alone. We can't. All you gotta do, and I was told this yesterday. I got witnesses. Harry was standing there. Guy said, oh, I believe in God, I'm good. Oh, really? How's that working out for you? Well, you know, maybe I started listening to a couple failures in this life. Believe is not just enough. How about repentance? Oh, no. Don't need that. I'm okay, you're okay. How about confession? Only to a therapist. How about baptism? This is the one I get. Well, no, you see, if I get baptized, that means my grandma was wrong, my aunt was wrong, my uncle was wrong, because they didn't, at least as far as I know. What about go to church? Harry and I heard that one too from this guy yesterday, you know, and I'm just going to change it a little bit. Just because you're in a garage doesn't mean you're a car. Just because you're in your church doesn't mean you're going to heaven, so I don't have to go to heaven. I don't have to go to church to go to heaven. That's basically. Anybody else besides me heard that one? I don't have to go to church. Oh, really? God's a liar. You know. And changing things a little bit. How did that work for the Philistines? All the guys just saw hemorrhoids. I guarantee you, women, they just did. You know. And the women just thought of mice because they hate mice. How did it work for the people who decided they'd take a peek inside the ark? 50,000 and 70 died. How did it work for us? Oh, this guy? He just reached out to steady the ark because the cart rocked on that uneven road. And God struck him dead. You get the impression God's got this true story in here, this real life parable for a reason? How about us? We're going to try harder this week to be more aligned with this instead of some of our ideas? Or are we going to keep digging? Are we going to keep looking for to be the exception to the rule? Or are we going to try to keep putting God in boxes that we've designed? What about you with the plan of salvation? One, have you done it all? And two, have you shared the good news of salvation? Are we going to try to live this week more according to the book rather than according to us? We're going to sing a hymn of invitation. It's hymn number 203. You have a decision to make